I'm going to go ahead and start recording. Awesome. Welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited to host Elaine today and share her magic with the world. And today I'm here with Miss Elaine, and she is on a mission to help entrepreneurs, coaches, and freelancers build the business of their dreams and live a freedom lifestyle. She has helped new and experienced IG business owners attract more soul-aligned clients without the icky sales tactics and show them how to scale their business so that they can live in the abundance that they truly deserve. She left her 9-to-5 and became a digital nomad, which is how we met. And she scaled her business in 1 year and is living in complete alignment with her abundance. And she is here to tell you all of the secrets so that you can do it too. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. And Elaine and I met being nomads down in Mexico. So this is like full circle around. I went to one of her Instagram workshops actually that she held and hosted down in Playa del Carmen. And that's how we met. And once you check out her Instagram, it is gorgeous and so well curated. And Elaine, I would love for you to share your journey, like how you got to where you are now, what's, we're key factors, and we're going to cover a lot of stuff today, but I'd just love to start with welcoming you in and having you share some of your story with us.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Yes, so I started my business at the beginning of COVID in 2020. I would say about May, and I just remember getting laid off from my 9-to-5. I used to be in corporate sales for about 10 years and just climbing up that ladder. And although I had a cushy salary, made comfortable income, I had a really good network of coworkers and colleagues, but I just felt like there was something that was missing in my life. I had a huge desire to travel. I had a huge desire to live freely anywhere in the world. And I also wanted to start my own business. And when I got laid off for 2 months, that was kind of like a sign from the universe that I needed to find new ways to make money. So what did I do? I went on Google. I searched up how to make money online.
Love it.
And then I looked at the platforms that I absolutely love using, and I'm a creator myself. I love creating fun content, videos, photos. I'm a photographer as well. And I just really wanted to make money on Instagram. So the first thing I first thing I engaged in was collaborations. So I started reaching out to wineries, to hotels, to clothing and so forth. And I got a few free clothing and I got a few gigs here and there, but it just made me realize that it was really tough for me to scale and for me to make an income that would replace my 9-to-5. And I didn't fully desire to want to just advertise people's products and people's things, because essentially it's not mine, it's someone else's product that you're advertising. So then I realized that this is not my full alignment. I don't want to do this forever. I want to do something else. And that's when I turned into the world of coaching through just watching a few YouTube videos. Vanessa Lau, she completely inspired me, and realizing that there's so much potential in coaching others to travel the world. So when I first started my business, my niche was helping 9-to-5s find a new purpose. So it was a very broad niche, to be honest. I had no idea what I was really helping someone to, but I just knew I wanted to help someone who maybe was in a quarter life crisis, where I was at 25 when I decided to travel the world for 6 months on a backpacking journey, eat, pray, love. And that's when I met my ex-boyfriend, moved to Australia for a year, continued back in the corporate world. And I thought, you know what, if there was me out there who wanted to quit my job at 25, there probably is someone else that wants to quit and travel too. So here I am wanting to make that that passion and that journey to help them through. But then I realized that during COVID, no one's really traveling, and I found that there was another opportunity that I could also look into as well that I truly, truly desired, and that was the Instagram strategy game. It was all about the hashtags, the reels, all the different features, and I absolutely love the Instagram strategy. I love growing on all the features on all the platforms within Instagram on its own, and there's so much to learn. And I started to help other coaches, other small businesses, e-commerce, and just really learning my grounding of who I really wanted to help too. And I just started to narrow it down even further because I realized that I wasn't really interested in doing e-commerce because it's a whole different world in that. And so I just focused primarily on coaches and service providers, anyone who has a offer or a service that they're looking to market on Instagram. That's who I help, and I truly, truly love doing that. And through helping them through Instagram strategy, through helping them through monetization, that's when I realized that I could help them get results in. And that's when I pivoted into a business coach who I am today. I'm still a business coach, a year and a half into my business, and I absolutely just love what I'm doing. And that has allowed me to quit my job back in September of 2021. So 1 year full time in my business.
Celebrating that. Yes.
Feeling I've never been, a year into, having a way of making money online, and just it is so possible. And obviously wasn't like an it wasn't a linear path at all. Like it was very like ups and downs, like you're hiking up a mountain, but there's still like the lows and all the challenges and all the growth and the lessons that I went through as well. And obviously, like I had failed launches, I had times where I wanted to quit my business, I had a customer complaint with 6 months into my business, and there's all these different things that happened that shifted, that needed for me to also disempower my mindset and start to shift that into where I am now. And yeah, so
awesome. I love your story too, because I think there's an element where and there's probably a little bit of a difference when it's more tactical things like sales, business, money coaches versus life coaching, which can be a little bit more vague and maybe not as like easy to, well, I'll say easy depending on the way you are messaging and marketing and making it clear of the results that you get. But I love your story because it didn't take you 5 to 10 years. It didn't take you a ton of time. And you do it so beautifully. Like I love your Instagram. Like I love seeing when you post stuff because it just looks beautiful. It's clear and it's inspiring. And I think there's a tendency for a lot of life coaches and, ones that are not such like clear results, so to speak, maybe in the beginning, to use the program and the things that you do in order to get clear, to get it online, to call in and to be creating conversations with potential clients and nurturing those relationships, because that is what business is. It's having something that people need and want, being able to communicate it and connecting with the right people that want it, and then inviting them into working with you. So with that being said, as far as your journey with going online with Instagram, what made you choose Instagram over the other platforms? And what were like the top 3 things that you felt really got the ball rolling, whether it was reels or consistent posting or whatever the thing was that got you like really rolling with your business on Instagram?
It's Instagram stories.
The secret's out. It's Instagram stories.
I actually did like a 6-week course like a few months ago just on how to sell, how to show up, how to create content, how to brand your Instagram stories. Like there's so much to it on its own that I absolutely love, because I just love being able to just take a quick story, 30 seconds long, you show up, and then you know, add in a little bit of a caption, a little bit of text, and then you post it. And I love how it disappears after 24 hours. So it gives that purpose for someone to you know, watch your stories before it expires. And there's so much fun ways to also engage with your audience as well through Instagram stories. And I find like a lot of my clients who work with me now have been watching my Instagram stories. That's why I love using it. 95% of my clients actually come through Instagram stories.
And what made you choose Instagram over the other platform?
I love Instagram on its own, even before monetization. And I think this is something that I also want to, you know, tell my clients too, like find an app that you enjoy being on.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't enjoy Instagram and you like Facebook more, then have a business on Facebook, right? That could be your main platform. You don't need to have different platforms. And until today, I only have one platform. I have no podcast, no YouTube channel, no Facebook groups, none of that. I just have Instagram. That's my only platform that I have. And I find that there's already so much potential just on Instagram alone that I don't want to put my arms too thin and have to, you know, have to consistently post on all other platforms. But that's just me, and that's what's working for me. One thing I do want to mention that has really shifted for me as well, especially moving to Mexico back in December of last year. I've been in Mexico for a year on and off. I'm not currently there right now, but I love just networking, meeting other entrepreneurs, and creating a community in person as well. And especially how we're walking out into a post-pandemic soon, we're going to crave for those in-person relationships too. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love what you said about picking a platform you love is so important, because if you don't want to be there, that energy is going to come off to other people too. And, or if that frustration of like not wanting, you know, like not even wanting to show up or get in there.
yeah.
And I think, well, I've heard from many of, you know, business coaches and sales coaches I've worked with, but picking one platform and going all in and in exactly what you did keeps it focused. You're not scattering yourself all over the place. And even if you're repurposing that stuff and posting it out to other places, there is a certain, you know, when you're able to focus like that in business, it does help you scale faster. And so with focusing on one, picking one you like, and in this case with Instagram and using the reels, what have you found has been helpful, whether for like growing your followers? Well, I'll start there with that question because I have a lot of questions about Instagram, but what have you found has been helpful, supportive, worked for you as far as generating more people coming in?
Absolutely. To be honest, I'm not too focused on my reach of growth of followers, because before I started my business, you can say I was pretty much a content creator, a travel account. I posted all my photos of my travels, and I had a huge reach of just new followers coming through. My hashtag reach was like, it was to the roof. Like, I think it was 8,000 or more of reach. And now my hashtag reach is like 300, if even. It's a lower reach, but then I'm also realizing that right now I'm having more specific audience who are coming to my Instagram. The audience that are either looking to start a business, they're already, you know, within my niche, because I'm very niche specific in my content, and I rather not, you know, have every single person who's a broad audience, like, you know, than to have the specific audience. So I'm honestly not too concerned about my reach. I kind of stopped detaching myself with the new follower amount every week, because I realized that that was not the way to truly grow in your business. The amount of, you know, the likes and comments does not equal to the amount of money that you're going to make in your business. I've seen so many, you know, successful entrepreneurs, six figure, seven figure entrepreneurs with less than like 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
And if even, like, there's probably like my other coach that I hired back when I first started my business, she had less than 1,000 followers, and she had a 6-figure business. And it's all about the DM conversations. It's all about nurturing your followers, having conversations with them in the DMs, sharing content that
All right, we just had a wonderful little live internet glitch as per usual, but I love what you were saying about the not really caring about the followers, and it is about, you could have like the minimal amount of followers and still be making 6 figures or more, because you could have a ton of followers who don't, maybe they do engage with your stuff, but they're not buying from you, and you don't know who they are, and you don't know if they're your ideal client or any of those things. So I really love and appreciate, and I kind of asked on purpose in that way, because I think a lot of new coaches think if people aren't liking it and they're not responding, and I did this when I first started, where I'm like, nobody's gonna buy if they're not liking it. But
yeah.
I've had people
Oh no, me
who
too.
have never engaged with my stuff, who come out of nowhere and buy my stuff, and or friends of mine who recommend it that don't necessarily engage with it. So I really appreciate what you said about that. It was really important.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And with that being said, when you are DMing and getting into that, I know there's like a lot in the coaching industry, and I'm not sure if it's so much on, you see this in your world or with the clients that you work with, but I know in life coaching or more personal coaching, there is this huge thing right now where it's like DMing is gross, and it's like, well, if you're cold DMing people, it could be. So when you train people in DMing, what have been things that you have found are a way to connect, but where it's like consensual and you're not just like showing up cold calling in people's inboxes?
Absolutely. I definitely do not advise anyone to cold pitch to people, because we probably have seen those DM messages, the
Yeah.
ones that, hey, like, I'll get you 10,000 followers, or you'll be featured on Yahoo Finance. I get a lot of these spammy messages just wanting to straight work with me, to just completely copy and pasted. One thing that I really do want to encourage is to start to step back from copy and pasted messages, especially if you have a small following, especially, if you're wanting to have genuine, real conversations, because I personally don't like to respond to copy and pasted messages, right? I like to respond to messages that someone actually took a moment of their time to look at my feeds, to see that, I am in Mexico, or I post something that captured their attention, and, like someone who took that moment to take a look what I have, and have a genuine comment. And those are the comments that I like to respond to as well. So like first, like just sorry, what was the question again? Like,
Yeah, as far as like DMing and
yeah,
outside of like cold
yeah,
calling people, what are things like you recommend, whether it's like your content is so fire that people are reaching out to you, like, how do I work with you? Or like, what are different
yeah,
ways that you found? Because if some people don't have the type of content yet where people are reaching out to them, like, how do I work with you? Ways to connect with their audience. And like you were saying, like, don't copy and paste all of your new followers, because I've had that recommended to me and I've done it and I did not get good feedback from people when I did it. So,
okay,
there's like permission to like learn and try things on. And
yeah,
because I think there's a lot of shaming of coaches too, like, this is gross, don't do this. And it's like, okay, well, everyone starts somewhere and everyone has different things that work for them. But yeah, I'm
yeah.
curious around what things you try on, do that you love, that work for you around initiating conversations through the DMs.
Absolutely. So one thing I always like to do is to send a message to my new followers. So I'll thank them for the connection. I also try to take a look at their profile to see if there's any common grounding, common interest, and really looking at the profile. Is this someone who, I vibe with their energy? Do I vibe with them? Their energy and their personality level and so forth as well, and their content and their stuff, right? Because ideally, who we want to work with is someone who we want to energetically vibe with. So that's the first thing, taking a look at their profile. sending them a genuine message. And then I also want to recommend as well not to send so much like deep questions at the very beginning. Like I have seen people like, hey, thanks so much for following me. Like, what are your challenges that you have around mindset? And then I'm like, let's just like, you don't want to ask me for my struggles and challenges. What if we're meeting up in person? Like, you don't go up to a stranger asking them about their struggles and their challenges. Like, you want to get to know them. You want to say their name and like, say, hey, like, Nicole, like, thanks so much for connecting. I love your Instagram. I love how you're traveling Mexico, or just sharing that, like, that really fun, genuine, common background. And then after, continue to build rapport. That's a huge, huge, huge part that I'm teaching in my newest program that I'm launching in a few weeks, TM Magic, and just really, really helping a lot of new entrepreneurs who maybe in these shoes right now, like taking that time to build rapport. I call it coffee chat conversations. It doesn't have to be anything related to your business. It could just be something that they recently posted or shared on their stories or shared on their content, right? And just taking a look at what they're doing and having that genuine curiosity, building interest, building questions, congratulating them if they're celebrating something, and yeah.
That's so awesome. I love everything you just said. It's so funny because there's a couple points around this where I feel like dating and business and building relationships is so similar. And I love it when coaches talk about how to treat it like you're courting or dating someone. So it's like you wouldn't show up on a first day and be like, so where do you want to get married? And that kind of a thing. So it's like you're not. And this is also when I first started was a learning curve for me because I have a background in working with women around healing trauma. And so for me to show up in someone's DM and be like, so how is your trauma affecting you from doing business? And showing up and coming from that angle would repel anyone. So there's this element of having yourself financially set up to where, or the inner work, the mindset work, and the nervous system regulation work to be able to not put that energy of I need this money or this sale or this client to where you're actually continuously just feeding, meeting, nurturing relationships. And when it's the right time and the right fit, those people are going to show up because you have a clear offer, the thing that they want, the thing that they need, and you can help them with that. And there's this element where I think when people are so rushed to make money in their business, to make it happen, to do the things where sometimes they're inviting people into programs that they shouldn't even actually be in, and it's not the right fit, but they don't have the conversation, really having the conversation to help them and serve them in that way. So I think it's really important to what you said around taking the time to check out their profile and like keep it in small bites around like, hey, thanks for the connection. And I noticed this, and you're, like just getting to know somebody. And like you said, like seeing if they're a good fit and that you vibe with them. And that really is the piece I think that gets rushed in a lot of these get to 10K month programs. And I've been in those programs where it's just like, make it happen. Yeah. And it's just like, it's like traumatizing almost to have that like pressure to like do the things.
So much pressure. I do not ever say I'm going to help you get to your first 5K month or go from 10K, 5K to 10K or go to 6 figures. Like I don't like to have that in my marketing piece because I don't want to guarantee people those kind of results. And I don't want people to walk away from my programs with Elaine telling me that I was going to make 10K. And I've been in a program that's something like that. And I was like, this is just not the way I want to, because it's so much more in having a business. It's not just making the money. It's everything else that comes with it too. Living this freedom lifestyle, living in full abundance, being able to travel for me and living around the world. And that just brings me so, so much joy. And that's really what fulfills me. So
yeah. I'm on the same boat with you. I'm like, I want freedom, like time, location, and financial freedom. That is like the say all be all for.
Where's your next digital nomad location that you're planning to relocate this season?
So I have a couple places on the map. I'm gonna do Colorado, Boulder, Colorado for a few months, I think 2 months. I'm gonna go work with a woman there who does myofascial release for the pelvic floor. So I'm gonna go do some like learning different and have her do some work on me. And then I'm gonna do 2 months in Nashville, Tennessee, because
Okay,
I just
yeah,
feel really called to like, I haven't really spent a lot of time in the South and
yeah.
or I don't, the music scene there really is like, I don't know, I just want to go be around music.
What
And
kind of music?
it's more, I guess there it's kind of, I mean, bass, it's more like country, but really it's just like any place you go, they have live music because that's where musicians tend to be in LA, Nashville, or New York. So it's
Mhm.
just a hub for music, for all kinds of music. But I like folky, like folk music. I really like the new band
Okay.
Greta Van Fleet. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're like a rock and roll, but they're all like 25 or something. It's like I'll send you it. It's like super
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
super fun
definitely.
music. It's new music, whatever. But and then after that, like you know, depending on how the world is doing with the Rona, I would love to go to Paris and do Greece and London. That was my plan, like pre-pandemic, was to go abroad for a year and do London, Paris, and Greece and Italy, and then coronavirus happened and all the things. So that is the goal. And yeah, how about you? Where are you planning on going next?
Freaking love your goal, your visions, and your desire. I'm just like, oh, the idea of like living in Paris or Greece for humans, like that's
Yeah,
so dreamy.
yeah.
I have a very similar idea to you as well. I do plan to go to LA next month, so I'm really, really excited for that. And then I was thinking about heading down to Europe for the unforeseeable future.
Well,
So
maybe
I'm
I'll
really
see you
thinking,
there.
I know, I already know we're gonna see each other. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like Portugal,
Fun.
Spain,
Yeah.
any of the Mediterranean islands, and just doing some fun travels, maybe to like Turkey. I really want to go to Turkey and
Yeah.
Egypt, all these beautiful countries, and just fall in love in
Yes.
Europe and stay there forever. I'm just kidding.
Oh no, I fully support that. Yes, you should multiple times fall in love over there. Oh, I love that. That's so amazing, and that's where this is so incredible. Where such a time as this um, for people our age, for anyone really, to be able to go online, be remote, and get to go travel the world and do these things. And it's so empowering. And I'm all about empowering women to make money and to be able to like curate that for themselves. And kind of coming back to the Instagram as well, like I've mentioned this like multiple times already, but like I sincerely like love your Instagram. It's beautiful and it's so well curated. Mine's kind of like a hodgepodge
No,
because I
great.
love it. I will say I love it, but it's definitely um I will be focusing more on, I feel like my Facebook is a lot more like, presentable in the ways of like the posts and those kinds of things. But with that being said, when
Hmm.
people um are building their online business on Instagram and using that, what are some of your recommendations? And obviously, you teach more about this in your programs, and I'm excited to hear more about your upcoming DM Magic program as well. And I think a lot of ladies in here will be very interested in that. But I'm curious, as you're curating, um, when you're putting together the images for the picture pieces, what have been things that you found? I know for me, when they're pictures of me, people tend to like go nuts on it, where sometimes if it's like written stuff, it's not so much like a
Yeah.
thing. But what are some of the things that you've seen in over the last year that um like either like how it looks, or it feels more like there is more engagement, or what you recommend around when you are posting to Instagram? What do you recommend as far as like the face forward thing that you're putting out there?
Mhm. Absolutely. So I do focus behind the intention of this content. So I have a bit of a content strategy kind of a dump. So I have three different main categories that I like to categorize my content in. One can be inspirational content. That's like the quotes. You see the carousel posts, and those those content pieces, they do increase in a lot of saves, or and and then the educational content as well. A lot of people like to save those content and come back to them. But then there's like the content of like maybe you're having more promotional, like you're selling, you're promoting your program, and those content have a very more likely to have a lower engagement with likes or comments. That's what I found. But what I really want to say as well, and walking into 2022, is people want to relate to you. You don't want to always have promotional, educational content. You want to also create storytelling captions, your story, or maybe even sharing, your mistakes and then what you went through, and sharing your transformational journey, or sharing, conversations that you're having, interesting conversations that you're having with your community or your clients, or storytelling captions. Like that is a huge way, because it's so like authentic, original, and new, and just a different, fresh perspective that people want to learn and remember. And that's how I remember a lot of the people that I read on Instagram, because I'm remembering their stories. I remember that like a year, 2 years later, I'm like having that conversation with them in the DMs, and I still remember that story with them.
Mm.
Right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Yeah, because that's where, innately our human brain, like before there was written, before there was online, all these things, our human history was taught through oral stories, is all through stories. So our brains are geared to learn through stories and remember
Yeah.
things through stories. And I love this too, because it's like you can go online and Google anything. Like really, if you want to go,
Exactly.
if you want to go get the information, you can
The
Google
information
10K
all
months. You can
there,
Google, yeah.
everything. Yeah.
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 And so this piece around telling more of your story, and not necessarily in like any kind of like dumping, especially if you do like more deeper life coaching kind of work, but the sense of like, people love to see the behind the scenes. Like I follow Lizzo on TikTok because she is always showing up, showing like these outrageous restaurant to go orders and her eating burritos and talking about how she's depressed sometimes. And I'm like, I fucking love her. And I like want, it like makes me love her more. And it's really no different for any of us where, while we may not be celebrities yet, in the eyes of like the people in our lives, whether it's our family or friends or like old coworkers or stuff, like when we are doing these things online, they are watching and they are wanting to see what you're doing and see where you're
Absolutely.
traveling and what you're cooking for dinner, what you're eating, or like a new wardrobe you have that you're excited about, or a new boyfriend, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that piece is so important, because I know for me personally, I spent so much of like the first year in my business trying to make the work that I do make sense. And I was trying to like say things so people understood. And so much of it got lost in translation because I was so focused on the wrong thing, kind of like in trying to like, I have 20 years worth of education and all these things. And I was trying so hard to like help. But really what people wanted was to connect with me. They were like, that's cool, but like, do I know that I'm safe with you? Like, it's great that you know this stuff, but like, are you going to hold a space for me to have these transformations that you're talking about versus just telling me about the transformation, kind of a thing. So that's so important. I love that you said that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. I can't agree more than with you. I've
Yeah,
been through this
absolutely.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there anything else that you want to share about Instagram that you think is really important for new business owners as they are getting started and using their Instagram?
Absolutely. My biggest reminders or takeaways from anything you took away from today's conversation is, if you are, looking to just start a business, just take that step just to start. Whether it is to just start storytelling, sharing your journey. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to promote and put yourself fully out there. If you've never shown up on stories before, showed your face on stories before, just start start small, right? Start posting photos maybe, or start posting text, or maybe just like you don't have to do everything all at once. Start with the one small feature within the Instagram that you truly enjoy on, whether it's to create content, maybe you love writing, create captions, maybe you love just speaking, create stories. Maybe you like to create like dance videos or something like that. Create reels. Just like focus on that one thing, and then allow yourself to have that have that start of your journey. Another thing is to create a community is so important. Like it's almost like not possible to have a business if you don't have a community.
Yeah.
And on Instagram is a little bit difficult on Instagram to fully create a community because you don't have like the Facebook groups versus like people are kind of like in your group. There's community on that, but there's so many other ways on Instagram that I found really helpful that helped me create community. Going on Instagram lives like this, kind of interviewing other empowered women out there. I like to do a lot of sharing as well. That's a huge community aspect of me, like sharing other people's posts, anything that is inspiring you or you're supporting, another entrepreneur. So I love doing a lot of shares. And then other ways to create community. Oh, you can have like group chats on your Instagram DM. So I created a community a few months ago on collaboration on Instagram Reels. We'd like do the group fun dance together.
How fun.
And we would like I would just like edit the video and just like have like 10 people in like one reel. So it's just like a lot of fun, just like fun like ways to create community. But of course in the beginning, just like start small, start what you feel comfortable with, and just know that if you ever feel like giving up, just keep going because you never know what will come out
Yeah,
of your journey.
absolutely. Yes, I love that. It's like start
And
small.
focus on the bigger vision as well, and let go and detach yourself from the small things that are coming to you every on a day-to-day basis. Sorry.
No, don't be. Don't be. That was amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. And yeah, and with that being said, like I mentioned already, I was drawn to you and doing that workshop in Mexico, and you have, I know multiple, but you have one specifically coming up. But let people know how they can find you, what next thing you've got going on, so they can connect with you and go find that if they're looking for it.
Absolutely. So you guys can definitely find me on Instagram at the Classy Traveler with 2 L's. So that's how you can find me on Instagram, or should I just drop my link? No, sorry.
Yeah, we'll put it in the details below on the live as well, so you don't necessarily need to spell it out. But yeah, it sounds like it's called DM Magic. And
DM Magic, yeah, I am launching a new program, DM Magic, in 3 weeks time, and it's just really helping entrepreneurs who've ideally already started a little bit into their business. They have an offer, they have maybe a bit of an Instagram strategy already, and it's for someone who is ideally looking to get into the sales portion of it. And that's where I really teach them on how to create a leads generation and nurturing flow to nurture their conversations in the DMs. And one thing that you mentioned, dating, how to date in your DMs. That's something that's pretty much what I'll be teaching for 6 weeks. There'll be a lot of like implementations because there's so many like new things for new people who've never been on a sales call before, who've never sold in their life, and this is a really good way for people to practice and to build a community within this group coaching program. So feel free to find more information on my Instagram. I have all the educational posts on that, and if you're still just just learning and getting your feet wet, definitely follow me, and I would love to connect with you. And send me a DM message and let me know that you came from today's live or you're watching the replay right now. Send me a message because I do have some free tools that I can also send you as well to help you get started.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I really want to stress to people listening, watching, whether it's today,
Yeah.
the replay, a year from now,
Yeah.
whenever they're seeing this, that you can sell from your DMs, and you sometimes don't even need a sales call when you get that good at your DMs and how clear your offers are. So it gets to be easy. It gets to be through your DMs, and it gets to be in a very like compassionate, nurturing,
Yeah.
connective way. And yeah, this program sounds amazing and a really good fit for a lot of the women in this community, because most of them are already in their business and looking how to scale it and using Instagram. So go check out DM Magic. Thank you,
Thank
Elaine, for
you.
being here. It's such a pleasure. And we'll chat soon.
Thank you, Nicole.